Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
What's going on, y'all? It's your girl, DJ Kiggy.
And this is Dirty Chris.
And this is the Scratch Theory of Texas podcast. What is going on, y'all? It's your girl, DJ Kiggy.
And Dirty Chris.
And of course, you already know you are checking in and tapping in with the Scratch Theory of Texas podcast. Chris, man, talk to me, man. How was your weekend?
I was on shift. I was at work this whole weekend.
Okay.
So not a lot of action. No, you know what? Actually, I did DJ on Saturday. I always forget.
What'd you do?
I was at Jackalope with All Day Ray.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a pretty good night. It was a birthday party for DJ Babbitt, aka Petey.
Okay.
And yeah, we had quite a few DJs there. DJ Nimbus was there too. That's Roman.
I didn't get the invite. I'm a little salty about that. Oh, I'm kidding.
It wasn't my birthday.
Joking. I was DJing. No, you're
it wasn't my birthday.
Yeah, no, you're good.
But no, yeah, it was pretty fun. Except I do have to touch up on a little situation that happened that night, but it's for later on in the show.
You sure you want to talk about it now?
Nah, I'm good.
All right.
What about you? What's going on?
Nah, man. I mean, just staying busy as always. Played at Wax Myrtle on Sunday, so that's how I love playing there.
That's the pool. That's the pool place.
Yeah, that's it. They definitely have a pool there, but I'm more so on the bar side, and it's always dope because I get to play cuts that I never get to play. I have this like house edit where it's actually taking the sample from Wu-Tang Clan's Cream and like little stuff like that. I know last episode we talked about like how deep do you get into like your edits and stuff, and that's like the place to do that.
Right. There's a time and a place.
Yeah. Did brunch, kind of tapped into some of that music as well. Actually, no, I'm lying. I didn't do brunch. I actually played for libraries. So shout out to the city of Austin for keeping me busy. But that was super cute. Like we had a bunch of toddlers come into the library and they took pictures on like stuffed animals and stuff. It was super cute.
Were you ready for that? Like all the little squinklers?
As long as they don't come near my table, we're good. You cute at a distance. You come near my stuff, I'm like, "Kite moco." But that's just me. But without further ado, man, we have a special guest in the building. I've known my guy here for going on 4 years now. And it's interesting how I was turned on to him. So I'll share that later. But without further ado, man, y'all make some noise for DJ Eriq Stylez.
I get a crowd applause? Oh my gosh, it's a special crowd applause.
Eriq.
Already, and I haven't even dropped the track yet.
No, man, that's how good you are, man. How are you? How you feeling?
I'm great. It's a little early for me, but
it is.
But hey, at least I didn't work last night, so
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good, man. So Eriq, for those who don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself. How you got DJing, all that good stuff. How you got to DJing, all that good stuff.
I am DJ Eriq Stylez. I'm originally from El Paso, so
915 West Texas in the house.
El Paso's got a lot of DJs.
Oh,
Chorizo,
man, that scene
Cortez.
that scene, oh my gosh.
They're big on house, aren't they? Like,
yes, yes.
Okay.
You're either a really big house head or hip hop. Like even their hip hop DJs are like
really
fire. Their hip hop DJs are. Whew, there's some really great.
I have yet to
DJs.
truly go out. So my wife is from El Paso also, and so we try to go once a year to go visit her family. But I have yet to truly experience the night scene. I think we experienced like a long time ago, but you know, I remember asking like some of the folks there, like, how's the Spanish here? How's the hip? What's the scene like? So it's more hip hop and house.
It's grown a lot. I haven't been out there since I think before COVID, so it's been a while. But
you still have family out there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. My whole family's out there. So yeah, I haven't been out there and I haven't been out, but I've heard like it's growing a lot. I still keep up with some people. I follow them. But yeah, I mean there's a lot of good places out there I've seen. For sure. So and always like great Pink DJs Elephant, out there. Yeah.
The Pink Elephant's like a big place out there.
Okay.
Something Dog.
I forget.
Something like Lucky Dog or something like that. But, they got some pretty good places, and they get really big DJs out there too.
Yeah, I think they have their own like EDM festival now.
Yeah.
I think it's called something Desert. I think it's something, but it's like a big EDM festival too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's popping over there. I haven't been back. I have to go back and visit sometime soon.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to tap into El Paso then.
I'm gonna have to. I'm actually going to El Paso for New Year's, so I guess you could say she's my aunt too. But my wife's aunt is getting married, so we're gonna be out there for New Year's. So maybe we'll do like a pre-party or something before the wedding.
And of course, always the food. You gotta enjoy
Oh
the food.
man. Okay. Hold on. So 915, tap in right now. But I'm sorry, I cannot with the Chico's tacos. Now, Pepe's tamales, the tamales over there, and my suegra's menudo.
Really?
Perfect. But that Chico's tacos, bro, is that your thing?
It's an acquired taste. You have to well, how many times have you had it?
I've had it once, and con eso that was enough.
See, the first time most people are like,
so you got to try it again.
You have to eat it like 2 or 3 times, and then you're like, okay.
I don't know that I want to go to the restroom 2 or 3 more times. So that's why that's TMI. But
see, no. That's the whole point. You go out to eat there, and then you go home. You don't do anything after that. You go home.
No,
So
they
that's
wanted
your
to
last stop.
sit and like chill and talk, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to have an emergency.
Chico's Tacos is the last stop then
of the
night.
And that's my wife's
of your
first
day. That's like when I go there too, but that's why we go eat there first and then we go home. So we can chill and relax and and then in the evening you're like, okay, I'm good now for dinner. I'm ready to eat some more. More food.
Cortez put my wife on a spot here. It's a food truck, El Perrito.
Yep, that's my homie. He's
Really?
cool. Yep.
Okay.
Now
Shout out to El Perrito.
Now his stuff I say is better than Chico's Tacos.
Really?
That's big.
Okay.
That's big.
I tried their fries just because I've already been burned with Chico's, and my wife was like, "Oh, you're missing
He
out."
also has some other good stuff like his beef flautas, tacos
flautas.
too. Like it's all.
Oh, you make me hungry.
He's
though.
combined a lot of like the El Paso foods
Okay.
from like different restaurants into one spot. So it's not just only Chico's Tacos food. He has like other things.
All right.
He
Well,
does
maybe I'll give it another
gorditas.
try.
He does gorditas.
So if you're from
It's
El
worth a
Paso,
try.
that's where you need to go.
Yes, El Perrito's really good.
All right. 915, tap in, man. Let us know how you
yes,
feeling.
El Paso. Yes. I moved here in 2005.
Okay.
So
Okay. What brought you here?
I came for school.
Okay.
I came to be a pharmacist. I tried to be a pharmacist.
Okay.
But it wasn't my thing.
Why do I kind of see that for you?
What to be?
A pharmacist.
pharmacist.
Yeah. Like I could see
know.
you as I'm walking into Walgreens to go pick up some shit. I don't know.
I actually did work at Walgreens. I
Really?
worked there for
Really?
7-8 years.
Can I help you with something, ma'am?
Oh,
Can I
my
help you
gosh.
find something?
Like
Yes,
I lift my
I
head,
was
right?
a pharmacy
Let's get
technician.
my heart and it hurts. What
Yep.
should I take?
I did that for 7-8 years. It's a lot. It's hard work.
You still want to do that? Maybe after DJing?
No.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Was it the customer service part of it?
It's everything.
Really?
Everything. It's a lot of work, a lot of workload.
Yeah.
Being a pharmacist.
No, technician. But even still
then.
being a pharmacist,
Yeah.
it's even
Okay.
more like
I work with a lot of farm techs.
the liability that
Yeah.
a pharmacist has and the responsibility is a lot.
Yeah.
Like
Educate me on that because I
So-
don't know.
the pharmacist holds the they're like the doctor to the nurses. They hold the ultimate liability for all the technicians. So
Right.
if a technician ultimately makes a mistake somewhere along the line, it's up to them to catch it. And if they don't, the mistake falls on them. Like
So like misprescription
Yep.
or something like that. Okay, got it.
The technician can get in trouble, but it's their ultimate liability.
Okay.
So
And that's like in the outside pharmacy. I think in the hospital, they look at more stuff like lab values and stuff like that. So they have to know like this specific medication is bad for someone who has liver problems. So they're I don't know. I want to say it's their job, but they would be like, I'm going to call a doctor and like, hey, there's this other medication that's not as bad for this patient. Would you like to substitute it?
Got it.
So, and then if the doctor says no, well, then it's on the doctor now. But
Interesting. I thought all that was on the doctor because the doctor is the one prescribing.
everyone's got a role in the whole
Interesting.
healthcare system.
the doctors get a base of like pharmacology stuff.
Yeah.
They don't know like 100%. That's
Right.
why it's to the pharmacist.
Yeah.
And so the pharmacist, if like a patient, if you're seeing 4 different doctors, sometimes those doctors don't communicate with each other. So they
Right.
don't know that they're getting this medicine from here.
It's complicated.
It's up to the
Wow.
pharmacist to know like, hey, they're taking this and this and this.
Yeah.
These don't go together.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so they have to reach out to the doctor and be like, hey,
Yeah.
this doctor's doing this doctor's doing, and some of them were like, well, it gets very like.
That sounds like one of my shifts at work, because there's a lot of doctors and they don't talk to each other and they expect the nurse to put it all together.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So
Anyways.
Totally different industry.
Anyways.
How did you get started on DJing?
I started DJing around the year 2001, 2002. That's when I bought my first pair of turntables.
Okay.
So growing up, my uncle and my dad were DJs.
Oh,
they were
cool.
mobile DJs in the 80s.
In El Paso?
Yeah, in El Paso.
The sound system DJ?
Yep. Oh my God, the tower speakers.
Yeah.
Giant speakers.
I still
everything.
have some.
Like
I bought my first speakers that big, and I remember taking this picture in the garage with both one speaker on each side, and I was like, ready for business. It was like one of my first business pictures, and I was so excited. I was
the tower speakers, man. The
so
towers.
heavy. And,
Yeah. So, growing up, I was that little kid that they show in the picture that's asleep at like the quinceañera on the chairs.
That was you.
That was me.
That's all of us.
Yeah,
we used to go to all the gigs. We'd be the little kids running around.
Yeah.
You can't say nothing to them because they're the DJ's kids.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But, we all, it was always in my life, DJing, we'd go to my uncle's house, so they could practice, and we'd be there just hearing music. And so, it's always been around. It wasn't probably till about, I would say, the late 90s. My uncle used to leave his stuff at our parties when we would have a house party.
Yeah.
One day I was like, let me get behind here. Let me see what this button does. And I turned it on. And
How old were you?
I was probably like 11,
Okay.
12. Okay. That was kind of my first thing of like, oh, this seems cool. Like I can actually play music, and there's like, oh, there's a CD in here. Let me hit play. And then the speakers turn on. I was like, oh my gosh, this is how they do it. So it's always been like that. And then, I was probably 2001, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it as a hobby. So I got me some turntables, some belt drive turntables. Of course. Oh my gosh.
Let me guess, Gemini or Newmark?
From Gemini from the pawn shop.
Yeah.
And I bought 2 records, a copy of the same. I taught myself how to DJ.
Nice.
I saw somewhere, I forgot. I read or I saw somewhere, they're like, okay, how do you start DJing? This is before, all stuff was on the internet.
Yeah.
So it's like basically you buy 2 records, you just beat match them back and forth, hours, and it's like, okay, you change the tempo on one, close your eyes, you change the tempo, then you mix the other one. And, that's how you.
So you were literally teaching yourself, like,
That's awesome. I love that.
And then at night, Fridays and Saturdays, I would turn on the radio, and I would put a cassette and just record, the DJs, all the mix shows. I would record them, and then I'd be like, okay, this DJ puts this song here, puts this song there.
That's what I was going to ask you. What was on the radio when?
This was when, in El Paso, dance music was still, but they would do like an hour of like dance music and then an hour of hip hop music. I wasn't into hip hop at that time. I was just a house head.
Wow.
Nope. My parents didn't let me listen. My parents didn't let me listen to hip hop music. They were like, nope.
So even your parents were like house heads. Like they were
not house heads. They were just like, no, you can't listen to hip hop music.
To them, it was like dance music.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I fell in love with house music, hard house. Everything in El Paso was house music at that time.
Hard house is my
whatever.
shit.
Hard house is what I grew up on, man. That was my thing. I was a little rebel, I thought I was all like.
Were you one of those kids that dressed in black? What is that meme that they always put like songs over them where they're like doing this?
Yes. That was big. Yes, that was big.
And then they put like
there.
La Chona or all these stupid like songs over the video.
I've seen those. No, I wasn't a rebel, but that whole rebel thing is like, it's a thing. Honestly, I didn't know.
The West Coast. It's in the West Coast.
Well, you're closer to California than what I was in Laredo.
Yeah.
So
like if also like in hip hop, from what I could hear, from what I would sneak hearing, was like I used to hear Too Short, all the West Coast. I didn't know anything about East Coast hip hop until later.
Yeah.
It was until later that, I was like, oh, there's an East Coast hip hop and a West Coast hip hop, as I was like starting to learn about hip hop. But so I bought my turntables. I started DJing. I was like, I'm gonna learn house music, and then I was like, well, I have to learn hip hop music too. At least if they're playing it on the radio. And I started doing parties with my uncle. He was like, oh, you're learning to DJ. Let's go. I was like, let's go. I need someone to help me with the speakers. He's like, let's go. And he'd be like, okay. He's like, this is like a birthday party or a teen party. He's like, since you know the current music, go ahead, play. And so I'd be like, oh shit, I got to play. And so, I started learning like hip hop, and I started buying hip hop records and like, I joined this DJ pool. It's called X Mix. Every month.
Oh yeah.
Every month they would just ship me like their monthly mix thing, and I was like, oh my god, I got the new hip hop tracks. It was pretty cool with the intro, and they had a cool little intro and everything.
Wait, they would ship it to you?
Yes.
Oh shit.
They had like their own hype edits too, right?
Yeah.
Really?
They had redrums and everything. That's how
That's cool.
That was like one of the first like ever like DJ pools that had
Record
like an intro, and they had an intro. It had
what was this called?
Break X Mix.
X Mix.
They're still
Are they
around. I think they're still around.
They might be,
or they might have been bought out. I think they might have been bought out by like Funky Mix and
there was the X Mix, Funky Mix, Lethal Weapon,
Mix Factor,
Mix Factor, yeah.
Okay.
And and like on the actual label, it used to have printed their time marks. So it'd be like, okay, the intro,
right?
And like they would have the intro, the first verse into the chorus, and then they would do a break. So in case if you wanted to mix out after that. So it was like one of those. It's like, oh my god, like you actually have like
the new 50 Cent or the new whatever it was.
And it was a redrum for the clubs.
Yeah. Okay. Right now that y'all mentioned Funky Mix and Lethal Weapon. So I shopped at this record store in San Antonio. Shout out to Southtown Vinyl in San Antonio. And I went there, and that's where I saw the Funky Mix records and the Lethal Weapons one. And I was like, yo, what is this? And the DJ he is a DJ, but the guy that was working there was telling me like, oh man, these were records that DJs would get back in the day. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, wow, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Do you still have those?
Yeah, I do. I still,
if you ever want to sell them, let me know.
Oh, no, I don't know about selling.
¿Cuánto, mijo? Bueno, bonito, barato aquí. Caliente, I got it right here.
I do actually have, I think on some of like the X Mix records, I think I have like 2 or 3 tracks that weren't ever released. I can't find them anywhere, like online or anything. Damn. So I'm like, man, I have to re-rip them, because when I originally ripped them, this was like in 2003, where it's like if you ripped something, MP3 was like 128.
KB.
So it's man, maybe I'd have to re-rip some of them.
Lucky for you, I got them on MP3.
What?
All the old ones.
No way.
Yeah.
Pues pásala.
Ya sabes.
Pásala.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. And then like I was like, wait, this is the version they spin on the radio. I was like, okay, now I know. I was like, okay, that's cool. I was like,
that's a good feeling.
Yeah, right? I was like, at first I was like, oh my god, they're adding like this little hype on top of the track. And how do you do that?
Yeah.
I was like, this is like advanced. And I know some of them would do it on the fly too, but when you hear it on, I was like, whoa, okay. So
I have that edit.
it's not totally out of the realm that I can do it.
Yeah.
So I did that, but it was always just on the side, a hobby. And then I moved here, and it was on the side. I wasn't like, I was just like, oh, it's a hobby. If I find a gig, I find a gig. When I first moved here, I shopped around a couple of demos, and they're like, it's not Austin style. They're like, first, the first thing was like, oh, your mixing's too aggressive. You play.
This was in 05? Okay.
05, 06, yeah. I actually went down to 4th Street. I actually tell people that I went into rain. I passed my demo out, and they were like, sorry, we're not looking for DJs.
I did that too when I first got into town.
I went to a couple of places anymore, and they're like, no. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe it's not meant to be right now. So I was like, I'll just focus on school for a bit, and school didn't work out for me. And I started working as a technician, and it just took up my time. And so like, I would still DJ on the side, a hobby, maybe get one gig every once in a while. And it just went like that. And then after a while, I think it was like 2008, I stopped, and I was like, you know what? This ain't going nowhere. I sold all my turntables.
Really?
And then I sold it, and it went about a year. I was like, no, I can't. I was like, I felt empty. I felt like I was missing something. So I started over. I bought some new turntables.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And like I started making mixes again, and it was just like, okay, well, I'll still do it as a hobby. If I find a gig, I find a gig.
Were you doing something besides the demos to find a gig now?
I would answer ads. This is Craigslist. You see an ad for DJ. I'd be like, hey, blah, blah, blah. I saw a couple gay clubs that were there. This was like, I wasn't out still, I had a boyfriend at the time, and we lived together, but, I wasn't out per se, with a lot of DJs, I couldn't be out at the time because it was just like, okay, I mean, it wasn't something I would announce because I was just so used to just being me.
You're just a DJ.
And I wasn't ever like out. So, I had a couple of friends, and, we'd hang out or stuff. We'd DJ, and then they'd be like, hey, I have some girl for you. And I was like, no, dude. They're like, wait.
Wrong tree.
After a while, they'd be like, why? And I'm like, dude,
Does she got a brother? That's who I want to talk
That's
to.
what I would. And then, so yeah, I was.
I say that shit. Like, man, where is your fucking sister? I love you, babe. No, this is before my wife. But where is your sister, dog? I don't fucking
Where's your
talk
sister
to you.
at? I mean, let me talk to her.
Fuck that shit. Your sister hot. That's who I want to talk to.
But so, you know, it wasn't until about like 2012 I was tired of Walgreens already. Walgreens, I don't care. I work there. Everybody knows I worked at Walgreens. So shout out to my Walgreens family. Yes, you still remember.
You still friends with them? Some of the people?
I don't talk to them really anymore, but I mean, if I saw them, we would remember each other. So,
okay, cool.
And I was like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do anymore. I can't do this anymore. I was tired. And then I saw this Craigslist ad, and there some new gay bar was looking for a DJ. I was like, let me try it, whatever. They messaged me back, and they're like, hey, you want to come in? And I was like, okay. So I went in and DJ'd one night, and they're like, yeah, we want you back. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, it'll be a little Saturday, Sunday.
Is that place
gig.
still here or
No.
still open? No.
So Saturday, Sunday. And then they're like, no, we want you 5 nights a week. And I was like, oh, wow. I was like, ooh. They're like, you have 2 weeks to decide. And I was like, man, this is like one of those where it's just like, do I take it? Do I not take it? And I thought about it. And then I was like, you know what? I've been waiting for something like this. And it's not something that isn't like, you know, it's not, you know, this isn't something that's not just going to come again. Right. I know opportunities like this. So I was like, I'm just going to take it. So,
nice.
You know, I left my other job, and then I started it. And I mean, it was tough. It was my first club gig. You know, I'm not much of a partier. I'm not much of a clubber. Wow. I didn't really go out to bars or clubs, you know, even through my college years or whatever. You know, I would go out in El Paso, yes. Right. But here I wasn't much of like, I'm not much of a partier when I'm not DJing. Right. I'm very like introverted. I'm very quiet. I'm very like.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So what did you play at that club if you didn't go out much? What did you walk in with?
I would just, you know, I just went with like, they're like, okay, you know, you play, you know, top 40 dance remixes, which is from what I knew already was being played at the gay clubs, was all a bunch of top 40 dance club. And I was like, okay, I can do that. But I was like, you know what? I usually mix, you know, I would play like maybe 15 minutes of a pop hip hop set, you know, like I'd go into like, you know, Beyonce, Crazy in Love and all that other stuff, like Amory, like stuff that was hot between like, you know, at that time, I don't know, because it's pop, it's still pop. Yeah, so like at first they're like, ugh, you know, why are you playing to that crowd, or why, you know, and that's where like I first started learning of like the resistance to certain sounds, to certain music and stuff. And it's just because of how the environment was. You know, it was before that. It was just, everything's always been about dance music, you know. You know, the gay clubs were always, you know, at the cutting edge of dance music. That's just where you found the best music to dance. And yeah, it's up-tempo, everything's up-tempo, everything's dance. Everything can be like that. Sure, I was like, I love house music. I love dance music. But sometimes, you know, you got to switch it up. You got to,
for sure.
You got to have styles, you know.
There you go.
So, you know, I was just like, well, you know, this is me. There's people on the dance floor. There's people at the bar. I mean,
what's the problem? We're all
bar's
making
not
money.
empty. The bar's not empty.
And
so,
that still happens today.
Yeah.
It's like, what is the problem?
you know, I was there for about 3 years, and you know, after a while, you know, I got tired of them. You know, ownership was like, you know, they started using certain words. They're like, oh, there's too many urban people in this bar. There's too many this. There's too many that. And so, you know, after a while, I was like, you know what? I quit.
Yeah.
So I left there. This was about 2014. And it was, you know, I was just kind of lucky because around that time I started going down to 4th Street. I was like, well, if I'm in a gay bar here, let me go, go see the competition, go see what's going on over there. And I started networking a lot more too. That's where I met a lot of other DJs on 6th Street and stuff like that. But I would go in like into Rain, into Oil Cans. And I would, you know, just kind of look around and say, okay, this is what's being played. And that's where I met DJ Protege. Right. You know, it was funny. Like I always tell him, I saw him and I just went up to him and I just went up and talked to him. I said, hi, you know, I'm Eric. And he's like, oh, what's up? I'm DJ Protege. And I was just like, do you mind if I just watch you? And he was like, yeah, that's fine. And, you know, I met him and like, he'd like, you know, I'd go hang out and I'd see what he play. I watched the crowd reaction. Right. You know, that was one of the main things, you know, I started learning from him. And then, you know, from DJ Kavika, when he started working with me, you know, he's been in the game, you know, forever. I won't say how long, so he won't sound old, but you know, he taught me about, you know, DJing for a club is about, you know, the dance floor, the psychology, how you rotate a dance floor, you know, how you you look at the people, you look at everyone, you know, and it kind of dictates what direction you want to go, how you want to steer the emotions. And that's what, you know, then, you know, I learned from, you know, Protege, you have a packed ass dance floor.
Yeah.
But you're like, if there's no one at the bar,
right,
you know, yeah, you have a packed ass dance floor, but you need to rotate people.
Right.
So how do you do it without having people go out the door, but they go to the bar? And, you know, that's just stuff I started learning from him.
That's good stuff.
So how do you do that? So if you have a packed dance floor and people are not at the bar, and you know the bar sales is what counts as far as for our pockets, how do you do that?
So what I've started doing is a lot of people tell me my sets are like, I like to push the energy up. I push the energy up, and then I like to come back down. You know, it can take a 30-minute process, which is the equivalent for people, you know, drinking their drink or if they're dancing. So that way I shift the energy. Either I come down to hip hop, I will go, you know, maybe to some trap music, to some 70 BPM.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I'm doing like a hard, like a EDM set and I'm going at like 130, I'm like, okay, I'm either going to come back down to 100 BPM. And so that way those people are like, okay, I already had my fix of, you know, my up-tempo dance music, you know, let's go get a drink now. And those people that were outside, you know, having their drink, they're like, you know, this isn't my type of music, or I'm not feeling this vibe. And they're about to finish their drink. They're like, oh my God, he like switched it up. Here we go. Let's go. You know, I'm hydrated. Let's go dance. You know, but that comes from, you know, I like to walk around a lot, and it helps me engage. I'm like, okay, these people over here, these people over here. So I'm like, okay, now I know, like, I can touch on this. I can touch on this a little bit.
Yeah.
Remember the last episode we were recording, we were talking about the BPMs, how I would go up a few BPMs, and the whole deal with Graham Central Station at the time was you increase BPMs and all that stuff, and then you drop it down so that people can go drink. It's essentially the same thing.
Interesting. And then from my perspective, I always have to keep the energy up, because if I keep the energy up, people are going to be like, oh my God, let's go get a drink. It makes people want to go get a shot. Yeah. And it gets you more fucked up. And then you dance some more. So that's interesting. I'm not saying mine works and yours doesn't.
Because it's.
But that's good to know.
But that's like on a typical regular night. Like sometimes I've shown up at like 9:45 to set up, and there's only like 5 or 6 people on the dance floor. Now there's people in the lounge over there, because you know how big it is at the club. You know, there can be people over here, and I'm like, okay, I see an older crowd. I can play a little bit of older vibes, you know, just some 90s music to get people like a little warmed up. And then I can drive it up.
I feel old.
But there are some days, like I walked in at 9:45 and it's packed. Like there was one night I walked in about 2 months ago, and there was a pub crawl, and it was a swingers party. There was probably like 150 people in that bar. Like as soon as I walked in at 9:45, I was like, wow. Oh my gosh. And so I was like, the energy, I have to hit, you know,
from the start.
Hit it from the start. And then it's like, okay, now it's good to maintain, but then after like, once you get to like 11 o'clock, you're like, okay, I have to kind of bring it down, because you know, there's people coming in that are from,
and those people are leaving.
Yeah, they're freshly new. And if they walk in and if the energy sometimes is a little too high, they're like, oh, I don't know if I can handle this yet.
Yeah. So obviously you've been in Austin for a while, and we know that the music scene has evolved, and we know the queer scene has also evolved a lot. So since you started DJing, what are some of the positives and even some of the negatives that you've seen with the evolution of, you know, gay clubs or just the music scene in Austin?
The one thing I've seen is a lot more exposure. There's a lot more exposure. There's a lot more people out, and there's a lot more spots and a lot more venues and a lot more safe spaces now. You know, it's not just, you know, it's not just relegated to the same 2 or 3 spots, which, you know, I love 4th Street, and that's the foundation, you know, but there's a lot of other places too.
I think you are like Mr. 4th Street, in my opinion.
I don't know. I don't know yet. It's been 8-9 years that I've been DJing there, but hey, you know, I just, you
that's
know,
a long time.
Yeah.
I just try to be, you know, to let people know that if I'm there, that everyone's welcome, and that's what I always, you know, always tell everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of spaces. I mean, you know, there's, you know, now it's the whole block, you know, we have around the corner, and then we also have, you know, the Red River District, you know, you know, there's a lot. And then even then being able to host events at like different bars, you know, all the brunches, all the different themed events. That's just more exposure. And I think it's better because it's a lot more safe spaces for, you know, people to express themselves. Before you could only express yourself in those certain areas.
Yeah.
Wasn't there, like, I think I had seen some article or something about they were going to tear down a building that was downtown. They were going to make
you talk about Coconut?
Is that what it was?
It's from Rain on 4th all the way around the corner to Coconut. So there was someone that I think it's still under the works. I can't say too much. I mean, I don't know. Right. It's a lot of, you know, a lot of
politics and stuff. Yeah.
But they're trying to throw it down to build, you know, a complex, and you know, it's just kind of tough. It's you know, because it's a staple of the community, the whole block, and they're trying to butcher it down.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's fair, you know. So, but we're there now, so let's enjoy it, right? I don't know the specifics. I just remember seeing something about it. And I think it was like on Instagram, and just a lot of people were just voicing that that's not cool. Like, this is what makes Austin. It's a staple and everything, and then somebody's going to try to tear it down. It's like, no.
Yeah. So seeing all of this, being in the LGBTQ space here in Austin, and seeing how just, you know, this has evolved, what do you hope to see for us as queer individuals, DJs? What do you hope to see in the future with Austin, or just in the industry as a whole?
So
especially with, like, not trying to get political, but with just a lot of things that are happening towards the LGBTQ community. Like, what do you want to see in the future? And
like, I just hope, like, and I know it's a work in progress, for all of us to be able to, you know, just be all one together. I know within our community, there's still a little bit of, I won't say division, but, you know, there's still kind of separation between each other. And, you know, the more we work with being comfortable with each other and, like, helping each other out, and knowing that we as one whole community can do a lot much more than if we're just separated into smaller blocks. I think all of us, you know, being able to just come together, whether it's, you know, all the drag performers, you know, all us DJs, you know, sometimes I feel like, you know, sometimes us DJs, you know, sometimes we get so caught up in all our gigs that sometimes we forget, hey, you know, let's reach out. Let's, you know, try to be together more, you know, all of us, you know, queer DJs in the community. I know we're busy with our gigs, and sometimes we should be like, hey, you know, let's get together. Let's see what we can do as DJs. Because sometimes we're, you know, a good voice, a strong voice for people, because we're present and we do meet a lot of people, and we do interact with a lot of people, and a lot of people see us as like a face of something, whether it's our venue, whether it's our event, whether it's the spot we're currently at. You know, they're like, okay, if I know, like, Eriq Stylez is there, okay, I know it's a safe spot because I know he's there. You know, if Kick It's there, you know, I know, you know, it's a legit spot that I know I can feel safe. I can be myself at. And, you know, I think sometimes, you know, like with Pop, you see them seeing us there together, you know, I think people feel a lot more comfortable. They're like, okay, I know it's a good spot, a good space, you know, and I just think, like, we can improve on that. And
one of the things that I remember living in San Antonio is that there's always been this division between the gays and the lesbians. And maybe I'm just too busy to see if that is the case here in Austin. But why do you think there's maybe a separation amongst us? Because this is something that maybe our fellow straight folks don't know about, is that there is still a division within the queer community. And it's not just in Austin. It's not just in San Antonio. I think it's in general. So why do you think that is?
I think because sometimes some of us within the community, we still try to classify each other and put each other into categories, as opposed to us just being under one umbrella. Like, sometimes, you know, the queers, you know, some people who identify as queer sometimes think the people who identify as, you know, gay or lesbian, sometimes we want to separate each other. And, you know, I just think if we just, you know, say, you know, we're all under the same thing, we all just want acceptance. And I think that's just how we work towards it, is just, you know, just interacting more and learning to be comfortable with each other. But there's sometimes there's a bit of separation. like sometimes, sometimes DJ wise are like, I've heard people say, oh, you DJ down on 4th Street. I'm just like, well, yeah, but it's, it's a queer space. Or sometimes they're like, oh, I only DJ here at this spot, or I only DJ here. And sometimes, they use that as a way to, divide it. And it's like, no, we're all queer DJs. We all represent the community. We all have our events. We all create the same safe spaces for everyone.
Do you label yourself as a queer DJ or gay DJ?
I like to say I'm a DJ who is gay, who is queer, who is myself. So, I'm a DJ first, and then, I'm me.
Yeah. Because I asked, because I know, I think it was when Diggy was here, we were talking about like the term female DJ versus DJ. Right. And so I'm curious, from your perspective, if you consider yourself a queer DJ, but you said, you are a DJ and you're also queer and you're also a guy. And you're also Hispanic or whatever else. Yeah.
See, and that's the thing is like, even with that, like they're like, oh, you're a Latin DJ. I'm like, no, I'm not a Latin DJ. I'm a DJ who's Latino or Mexicano or whatever. But, I'm not a Latin DJ. I'm a DJ who is Latin.
Right.
Yeah. Have you ever encountered any kind of like misconceptions or biases about being a DJ who is gay? And if so, like, how did you respond to that?
The main thing, like one of the main things that I encountered at first was like, they assume that I play gay music.
And what is gay music?
That's just like
house, hard house dance. No,
not even that. Not even that. Like when I first was like, when I had, the regular gigs, but I would take side gigs, be like, okay, don't play no gay music. I was like,
what the fuck?
What is gay music?
They're like, like the Madonna, the Whitney, dancing, Dancing Queen, what you all play in the gay clubs. I was like,
I played all that shit last Saturday. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we play that shit at straight weddings.
Well, that's the thing is that's what's hilarious. Or they'll be like, or don't play those top 40 dance remixes that you all play. I'm like, first of all, I don't even play that much Madonna. Like I can go weeks without playing any Madonna. Yeah. I rarely play any Whitney. Even like Dancing Queen, I'm like, but then now, like sometimes I see some of the people who used to laugh at me or something. I see them like,
and they're playing it.
All their stories are like, oh yes, Dancing Queen. I'm like, oh my gosh, or like they're playing like a top 40 dance remix, and I'm just like, oh, now you're playing it, but before you used to laugh at me, or you didn't want to book me because you assumed that that's all I played. Yeah, it's just like there was this one gig, like someone's like, hey, can you fill in for me? And I was like, yeah, sure. And they're like, I got there, and then they're like, okay, well, you can't play any of that. I was like, okay, I can play throwbacks, I can play 80s, 90s, I can play hip hop. Like I won't ever brag and say I can play a 4-hour hip hop set. No, I can't. Like, but I can hold my own for a bit of a hip hop set. Yeah, I've always said, don't ask me for a 4-hour hip hop set. I was like, you
don't want to do it.
Yeah, I'll probably grow some more gray hairs, but
hey,
see, but hey. But like the same is also for the opposite.
They're coming. Mine are coming.
The same is for the opposite end. Like I could do a house set, but I'm like, after 2 or 3 hours, I'm like, okay, I want to switch up. I like to like feel a different rhythm. I can't do a 4-hour house set all night. I'm like, I would go crazy doing that too. So
Are there gigs or genres that you've been dying to tap into that you haven't?
I actually I've been curious about like going back into my roots and doing like although I said no, but like a strict like a house set, but not a 4-hour set. Like,
right.
Do like a 1 or 2 hour like house set, just house, just no like EDMs, no crazy, no EDM, like
just good old classic
something
house.
New vibe. Just something new vibe that's good for the soul or heart.
Something to pitch at your spots. Huh? Yeah, like a house night or something.
It's something I got to work. Like it's a balance. It's a balance between, because, if for a while, like if I switch up something, I've had people they'll come up to the booth and like, are you okay? Like, are you all right? Like, are you in a mood? Are you like, is there something going on? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Why? They're like, okay, because like this doesn't sound like you. And I'm like, I'm just in. I don't know. I just feel like playing this today. And they're like, oh, okay. They're like, okay, I'll be back in a
funny.
little bit.
Why did you play that? Like, hey, shut up. Go get you a drink. This is the time for you to get a drink.
Yeah.
Stop asking questions.
So I got a question for both of you, and it has to do with club owners as well. Do you guys feel like club owners from like gay clubs are more willing to look for DJs that are gay, or it wouldn't matter to them? Like,
You can answer first.
It depends on the club. There are some clubs, you know, I won't say just here in Austin, but in general, they have their resident DJ, and to them, they want to keep a resident DJ
right,
until
till the wheels fall off. Yeah,
which is, you know, I was blessed to fall into, you know, my gig, you know, as a resident DJ at Oil Cans, you know, after I quit the other bar, you know, DJ Kavika was like, hey, you know what, if we did a night and we go back to back, we make it like a battle,
yeah,
you know, whatever. But there are some owners that don't mind having a straight DJ resident, you know, as long as, you know, they're open to the community and, you know, open to the crowd or anything, and not just there to, you know, collect a check or whatever.
Right.
You know, DJ Protege was a big advocate, you know, large advocate, you know, Dallas Downs, he's been there forever. He's a big, you know, he's a big advocate. You know, DJ Kavika, for a while they thought he was gay and they thought I was straight. I was like,
oh really? Yeah.
I'm like, no, he's the one married with a kid.
Yeah.
I'm not. But,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. But I mean, like, traditionally, the gay clubs, when they have a resident DJ, they'll keep them until that person either, you know, they decide to leave. You know, there's some gay clubs that have had the same resident DJ for like 20 plus years, you know.
So there's more stability,
Yeah.
you would say, like in a gay club as far as the DJ goes, because I mean, you know, I DJ down in 6th Street and you have a different DJ every single night. You might have a residency, but how long is it really going to last before they get another DJ?
See, but the key is you still got to do a good job. You're not,
Right.
You're
Not just because you're gay, you're big. I think there definitely is a level of representation. You know, I was working with a DJ, because I know there's a bunch of DJs that listen, so I don't want to put anybody in any kind of position. But I was chatting with a DJ who books DJs for an event that you and I do monthly, and one of the things that came out of that, because they were asking, you know, who else could you suggest to maybe come and do this night with y'all, like as guest DJs. And I had started naming a few DJs, and they said, well, the feedback is we want to have gay, queer, lesbian DJs as part of the representation. But to Eric's point, you still have to be good.
Yeah,
not just because you're gay.
Right.
You look good. You still have to do a good job.
Right, of course.
So yeah. Have you ever? Let me actually flip it. Have you personally ever experienced where you got turned down for an event because you were gay, not because of the music you play, but misconception, like because you were gay or you are gay?
I wouldn't know. I mean, they probably didn't call me because of it, so I don't know. But I mean, if like people reach out, and I mean, it's all over my Instagram page or whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they never reached out to me, I just think because they can't afford me. But,
Right.
But whatever. But also going back to that other topic we were talking about, the misconception thing. You know, there's you know, I've also missed out on some other gigs because I'm not the stereotypical gay DJ. You know,
What does that look like?
so like let's say if I was to spin, it's called circuit music. It's the high energy gay club music. It's kind of resembles like tribal, kind of huaracha music.
Okay.
You know, it's what they play at the really large
Circuit
High
events.
energy.
Okay.
It's like a tribal, you know, tribal huaracha music. It's a cousin of it, but
Okay.
it's really big in the gay community. They book DJs to travel, but a lot of DJs, that's only what they spin. You know, sometimes they'll spin EDM, but that's a style, and that's where the big money is in the gay male world.
Circuit
The gay male
music.
DJ world is doing that, and you just show up and you play, you know, sometimes an hour set or 2 hour set, and it's, you know, it's that music, you know, and because I don't play that type of music, I get overlooked for a lot of gigs, you know, or I will get a gig and then they're like,
They want you to be more gay.
Yeah, they want me to be more gay. Like if I'm not shirtless, you know, if I'm not out there being shirtless or something, you know, and I'm just like, that's why like when people say, why don't you get shirtless? I'm like, no, that's not me, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Plus you got to pay for this. No, I'm just
Okay, talk your shit.
I'm just
All
kidding.
right.
But still, I'm like,
hey man,
no,
you going
like,
to the gym, you putting in work.
Hey.
You got to pay to see this.
No, that's why sometimes I'm just like, no, you know, I could definitely, like if I wanted to, I could do that, but it wouldn't be staying true to who I am as a DJ.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. You always got to stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
Regardless.
So right now, is it mostly just there on 4th Street that you're spinning right now, or do you do other type of events?
I'm always open to other things. It does take up like 4 days of my week. So usually when people are like, hey, are you free Friday night or Saturday night? I'm like, you know, you know, if it's good, if it's a good, like, I won't say a good enough gig, but like, if it's worth me taking off, you know,
the pay and time
for my
and
resident
effort,
night to, you know, to do this gig. Like if someone's like, hey, you know, we're throwing a big EDM fest, you want to do a set? And I'm like, okay, you know, then that. But like usually if it's like on a day off and it's like a side little gig, I'll be like, okay, you know what? I'm down to do it, you know, have the free time. You know, some drag brunches, I'm always down, although I've done like a million drag shows, but they're like, you want to do a drag brunch? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. You know, if you thought of me to do it, then, you know, out of respect, you know, I'll do the gig if I'm available to do it. Cause you know, a lot of them don't have to think about me, you know, and a lot of times they go with another DJ and that's fine. But if they took their time to say, you know, this is who I want to run my show or to be a part of it and to be my DJ. Like I've had other drag hosts that are like, hey, you know, I only want you to DJ my show because I know that you know how to run a show and you know how to
work well
handle our
together.
music and like, you know what I like or how I like certain things. And so, you know, I take pride in that, you know, they have confidence in me in, you know, in what I do.
Yeah.
That's good.
So question for you. So, do you feel like a sense of responsibility to be like a role model or advocate for others in our community?
You took my question. I had it in my head. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Right here.
I won't say exactly role model, but I think I represent, you know, our community. I'm a face. I'm one of the dimensions, you know. I go somewhere and like, you know, if they recognize, we're like, hey, aren't you the DJ? You know, they'll say from either this place, you know, oh, don't you do that monthly event? Or they're like, oh, you're from 4th Street, right? You know, and if they recognize me, it depends where I'm out. You know, I can be freaking at HEB and like they're looking at me and I'm just like, and they'll come up and be like, you're the DJ, right from 4th Street. I'm like, yeah. So, I mean, regardless of where I'm at, you know, I'm always representing, you know, where I work at too, but also the whole community, you know.
You're a prominent figure.
If something happens, I mean, I'm not over here like this one here.
No, stop that.
This one's a superstar over here.
I know. But, you know, still like you go somewhere, you never know who might be seeing you or, you know, there was a night that, you know, I was DJing and some celebrities walked in. You never know who they are, but you never know. You could be playing music for them and, you know, they'll always remember like, hey, it came through here. Or like, you know, you're at the store, just like I said, and, you know, someone sees you. Or even if I'm out, you know, going to support a show, you know, people see you as like, okay, oh, he came to support my show, you know, I'm gonna go support him when he's DJing now because, you know, it's a little mutual, but also also taking part in, you know, advocacy, you know, and, you know, for protests, you know, for things like, you know, because it's all our community, you know, and you know, I'm one of the dimensions of it. And if I'm out there standing out there, you know, then it's an important issue and it's something that, you know, I have to be upfront too with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've had any, or are there any maybe significant moments in your career where you feel like have had a positive impact and representation on LGBTQ artists in the Austin scene?
I don't think about a specific event. I just think in general, it's just a continuous thing. I'm always out there, you know, trying to support artists and, you know, stuff. If I see someone who's releasing music, you know, I'll always tell them, hey, you know, send me your song, you know, send me your track.
Yeah.
I can drop it in the mix, you know, if it fits in, I'll, you know, drop it in during my set and, you know, I'll try to push it. You know, just also being able, you know, to host, you know, a Latin night, you know, down at the club, you know, there hasn't been one in probably ever down on 4th Street, you know.
Yeah.
I hosted every Sunday night, and then I also brought one to Rain. You know, we brought Poppy C. That was the first time, you know, they've ever had a Latin night there. So, you know, and it was pretty big. And so a lot of people were just stunned that, you know, we were able, you know, to bring it there. And, you know, I was able to, you know, to have a hand in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
I asked that question because, like, for me, a more recent moment was when we both, in separate time frames, performed at the Waterloo Greenway.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And, you know, we're still in it, right? But this is truly like at the height of all of these different bills, anti-LGBTQ bills that are being passed, right? And so I'm not gonna lie, there's moments where I go to public events that are LGBTQ friendly. I've done work for some politicians here in Austin, right? And it's, I'm not gonna lie, there is a concern when I leave my house, because I want to make sure that I get home okay.
Yeah.
I make sure that I also don't get into a fight or rip someone's face apart because of things that they may say or do.
Right.
And you see a lot of things, unfortunately, in the news. And so when I DJ'd at Waterloo and you DJ'd that same day later that evening, you know, looking back at it, I'm like, man, there were so many families there that were taking their kids, and they had them sit there. And of course, the two queens that were there, Tequila Rose and Bridget.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. But
absolutely amazing queens.
They're so beautiful. They're so awesome, so easy to work with, super friendly. And they're reading, you know, these books to kids. And all these families came out to just have a good time. And it put me at ease, because I was like, okay, there are people out here that do support us and are not with the shits, right?
Exactly.
And then later that evening, seeing, you know, how successful the night was when you and Gabby were there. So I'm thinking about it in two ways, right? Like, number one, the Austin community showed up. And when I say Austin community, I'm not just saying LGBTQ plus, but I'm saying
in
the
general.
public as a whole came out to support and say, hey, we stand with you, right? But then also for venues, like big venues like the Waterloo, to invite us to come out, like that to me was a more recent moment that I was like, okay, like we're truly this is a positive impact, because we're out here.
Yeah.
know?
When they reached out and they were like, hey, you know, we want to do this event, I was like, wow, really? Y'all want to host, like, you want to host us there? Yeah. You know? And I was like, wow, you know, that was amazing.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of the, I don't want to hire them because they're gay or they mean, I think a lot of that is kind of going out the window unless you do something stupid in public, right? But I think a lot of that is going out, and it's just more like, you know, your talent, you know, who you know, etc. So yeah, that's why I had asked that question, because like I said, more recently, that Waterloo event, I was just like, okay, cool. Like,
I saw like your videos and stuff. Oh my God, like the families there just looked amazing.
Yeah.
To see them, you know, and then at night to see them just being able to just relax there on the lawn, and it was just amazing.
The kids are cute too. Like, the drag queens were asking them questions, and the kids were like, me. And it was like, you don't even know.
What did that event like consist of? What was, like, I know there was DJs, but what was like the whole event? Was it just a DJ show, or what was the whole?
No, so they do this year round or every year, and so it's pretty much Pride for Families, and so it's a whole week long of events, and so every night. It's usually done in June, which is National Pride Month. And so every day of that week, they have a different program. So they have like panel discussions. They have obviously drag performers.
It's like a lot of awareness and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. And so the Saturday specifically that him and I were there, I did the morning shift. And so what it was is, obviously I'm there DJing. The queens were reading a book to the kids. They had a bunch of vendors, a lot of community resources, like to educate yourself about different nonprofit organizations, right? And then they had a little mini parade. So they kind of walked around like the little space. And it's just like unity, family, etc. And then the night one, I think it was more for like, you know, the party scene, right? So where they had Poppy C came out, and they had the dancers and just people just having a good time. I think they had performers too.
Yeah, they also had performers and some singers
Yeah, so it's just really
That's cool.
showcasing like LGBTQ artists and bringing more awareness to the forefront via keynote speakers or panel speakers or stuff like that. Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, so I mean, places like that you know, you just maybe 10 years ago would have never thought that they would have LGBTQ showcases
like
and
that.
It's yeah.
So I might be DJing a Latin gay night soon
Okay.
with RLE.
You need help? You all right? You gonna be okay?
No, I'm good. So he got asked to do a Latin gay night at Iron Bear.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on 6th Street.
Yeah.
And he did one night. I went to go see him play, and he was like, "Bro, I was fucking killing it and everything."
Yeah.
And then he's like, but he kind of felt like that night they used Iron Bear as like a pregame, and then everyone went to 4th Street.
Oops.
Eric.
But
Just kidding.
no, I mean that's just the way it goes. I mean, but that's just the way it goes.
I know that
They do
4th
like
Street
that
is
in-
historically the gay.
But that's how it is. Like everybody flows between the
Right.
bars. So I mean, you're it's just a natural flow. You know,
Yeah.
everyone starts somewhere and then they rotate,
Right,
and then
right.
they rotate, and then they rotate.
Yeah.
They all between all of them, they all rotate.
That's
like,
that's the logistics of a downtown scene. I mean,
Yeah.
people sometimes they just choose like this is the place where we're gonna pregame and this is the place where we're gonna end up. You know,
Yeah.
He wasn't complaining about it, but he was just like, that he killed it, and he was like, bro, everybody was dancing, it was freaking cool. It's like, and then all of a sudden, like nobody was there. So I got there when. That's not true. Nobody wasn't there. He said that nobody was there, but there was like a lot of people still there.
Yeah.
And so I think they were testing out DJs because then I think the next month they had tried somebody else and I think they didn't get the result that they wanted. So now he's back.
Yeah.
So now he's back and he's like, yo, you want to do a night with me? I'm like, fuck it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
it's
We're fun.
I will.
We're a fun bunch.
It's weird sometimes. Like it'll just be a switch. Like they're just like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
it don't matter what you're playing. Like,
Yeah.
they could be like, okay,
Why do
I'm
y'all
done.
do that?
I'm done.
Help us understand. Yeah, I go ahead.
You know, but I will say the gay crowd historically is the hardest critic. Like,
You think
like,
so?
well, in the club,
Yeah.
they can easily be like, no.
Really?
Like they're not going to hide it, but it's like,
some,
what the fuck?
Some will, but some like if you drop a song at the wrong time, even if it's a banger, they'll be like,
So they're not so forgiving.
no, like
Yeah.
now it's a little more free, but
Yeah.
before like you could play a bad song or you put a song timed wrong,
Yeah.
not timed wrong, but like not fitting well, you could empty out the whole club. Like that was one of the first things I learned was
Do you
like,
see that just in general, or do you see that more with men or women?
it's both. It's just like, it could be like all of a sudden like a switch. They're like, or if they're just like, oh my God, I don't like this song. And it's just like, psh, it'll just like empty out, or like, I mean, they'll go to the bar or something and you're just like, and it's like, but it worked last week.
Yeah.
Like, and
Interesting.
that's where like, you can never play the same set, especially like that. Like I've tried that. I'm like, you know what? This set worked like 3 weeks ago. Let me try it again. And like, I'll go down and I'm like, yeah, nope, it's not. It is not. I'm like, nope, it is not. And then, or I was like, hey, I dropped this song right at 11:30 and everyone went crazy.
Yeah.
And then I was like, let me try it again. And nope.
Nope.
They're like, nope.
They're
we're
not
It's a
having
different
this.
crowd at that time.
Man.
I'm like, even if it's like freaking, like Taylor Swift or like Beyonce, they're like, okay, yeah, but it just, I'm just like, okay, I guess not. And
Do you so sometimes what I do is I look up like Spotify to try and like pepper in other songs in my gay crate. I'll call them gay crates, right? And do you necessarily agree with how some of these platform put together gay playlists?
oh, I had this discussion with who did I have this? Oh, with DJ Kaviga, because it always happens during Pride Month. Some DJ pools, I won't name, but some put together a Pride crate list, and I'm just like, really, y'all still put YMCA in a crate? Like, it's fine and all, but like, gay people listen to normal music.
Right,
we are
right.
normal people. Like, we listen to freaking, they listen to Ice Spice. Like, oh my God, like freaking 3 songs in a row,
Yeah.
and y'all are still putting, YMCA and like,
Dancing
I Will
Queen.
Survive. Yes, Dancing Queen. I Will Survive.
I'm coming out.
I'm coming out. I'm just like, oh my God, y'all.
Yeah.
Like,
and they're timeless anthems.
yeah, and I'm just like, yeah, it's. I mean, I understand in certain settings, yeah, it's cool. Like if you're, you know, like certain events or whatever, but like as your normal playlist, no, like.
Yeah, like I could not play any of that shit at Mala Vida for our Poppy C night. Like these people want to hear, obviously, like the
it's funny to me because Saturday I was playing Dancing Queen, I was playing Whitney and shit like that.
And it worked?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
See, but that's the thing is like, okay, so let's say if I was to go DJ with y'all at an event and I played it, it'd be like, oh my God, he is playing 4th Street. He's playing his 4th Street music. He's playing.
I don't think that would happen though.
It does. Like people are like, and they have come up to me like, why are you playing 4th Street music? I'm just
really?
like,
that happened to both of us. I don't know if you had heard this, but one time we were doing a set together at Mala Vida, and one of us, probably me, tapped into like some Beyonce, tapped into some English music.
Right.
And I had heard that someone had complained. I was like, sounds like 4th Street.
But
like,
I think that's we had talked about. I think that's the crowd that follows Mala Vida, because when I was there at Jackalope, it's definitely not the same crowd. I mean, you get people from all over, you know, different regions of town to go party there, but it's not the hardcore Latin Mala Vida crowd. So in Jackalope, like you could absolutely throw it. I don't think anyone's gonna say or think anything, whether it was me throwing it or any of y'all throwing it. They're not gonna be like, oh, they're throwing it.
Oh no, we are quick. They're quick to tell us.
Well, I mean, and that's also because like some of the people that come like to see when I'm DJing, they expect like a different side of me, like my other, like me to reach into another level. That's why when I'm on, I think it's
because y'all are just too famous.
I hardly touch that stuff.
I think that's what it is.
That's why like I hardly touch that stuff.
I still do.
When I'm
I don't
with you.
give a shit. And especially because Patrick is there. Shout out to Patrick. Patrick, he also helps out there at Mala. And he, as soon as he hears like some Beyonce drop or something, this a reminder or something, he's like, bitch, and he is ready with his fan, and I'm like, you know what, if anything I could count on him.
Right, exactly. I
love my Patty. I don't even know if I could call him that, sorry Pat, but yes, I love him.
And it's like the opposite, because like when he knows I'm on, he's like, okay, so I'm gonna get some cumbia, right?
Yes.
He knows that I'm gonna play cumbia,
and
so
he's
like
there,
he lives his life with the cumbia. That's what I mean, is like, but that's
cool.
That's like the kind of balance we have is see, I know, like, you know, I usually like to go on early. For some reason, I like to warm up. You know, I'm a opener, and then I like to, okay, now I'm kind of warmed up.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm always like, I don't know if it's an issue, but I'm always like, you know, I like to play first just because it gets me kind of like, okay, I'm warmed up now. I can go walk around. Because if not, I get like really antsy. And then when it's time for me to play, I'm like so scramble head. I'm like, I don't even know where to start. What a different
perspective. We just talked about that last episode about the openers and headliners or whatever.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
The thing is, like, I don't mind opening because sometimes I like to set a vibe, and it's just for myself. It might not be for the whole event, but I like, you know, sometimes I like to set a vibe a little bit and be like, okay, it's kind of chill, kind of like, okay. And then as I lead it off, I like to hand it off with like some energy and
you feel good. Like that's. Let's see. There's a different.
That's why I'll be like, okay, like I feel myself like, okay, my energy's starting to go up. I'm like, you want to go? That way,
and I'm like, yeah, sure, okay, cool, whatever.
And I save that energy so that way when I come back on, I'm like, okay, I have that energy pent up already.
That's exactly the same thing. Like I was talking about when you vibe off of each other and you do like someone like back to backs. I like to go in early as well, because then, for example, like if I'm playing with Ray or Raymond, Ray. But then they're going to fucking kill it, and I'm going to enjoy that shit.
Yeah.
So whenever I go back, I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do my thing as well.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yeah. I have trouble opening. I like opening too, but I have trouble doing it because I already want people dancing, and people are just getting there. Like getting their pain, getting their drinks. And I'm like,
slow down.
Get on the dance floor now. Put your hands in the air. Let's fuck go. You know what I mean?
We're still sweeping.
I know, right?
Apenas estoy bajando la silla.
I know,
you know what I mean?
They're putting the beers in the
I'm like,
ice.
you, put your hands up now.
With the ice foot?
Exactly. That's me. So I have trouble because I feel myself like, okay, I'll save this one for later. I'll save it for later.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's always been like that. Like even when I used to DJ with DJ Kavika, when we used to do a back-to-back night, you know, I'd be like, you know what, let me start. I used to play for 30 minutes, and then he used to go 30 minutes, and then peak time we used to go like every 15 minutes. But when we started, I was like, let me start. I don't know why. I just like to start. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think it's an OCD thing probably too. I don't know.
Yeah, makes you feel comfortable, gets anxiety out, all that stuff.
I feel like if you open sometimes, you get to play a little bit more of what you want.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
I feel I do that because, for example, like if like when I'll be at Moonlight and it's 10 o'clock and I'm already ready to go. Shit, I could drop. Honestly, most of the time I drop like Notorious B.I.G. Hypnotize. And no one's going to say a goddamn thing about it because it's the first fucking song.
I will be there like,
you know what I'm saying? but even for like the staff that's there, they're like, oh shit, like I haven't heard this shit in a long time.
Yeah.
After a while, well, it's time to work and put the songs that, make the night happen. But at the beginning, shit, I'll put something like that or a little bit of country grammar or something. They're like, fuck, like I haven't heard this shit in a while.
If I walk in the club, that's all I want to hear.
I know.
Hip-hop throwbacks.
But, that's the way it goes, I guess.
So like is like your your go-to is like your passion, like the hip hop, like you're like, this is me, like
very much so, very old school hip hop and R&B and funk. And so I try to get away with it sometimes at Mala, especially like if we're in the opening stages or in the beginning stages. But yeah, that's like I always have to pepper in some of that stuff.
Try to guess mine. My go-to.
I don't know you well enough.
Spoonchies.
I don't know you well enough though.
Hard house.
Really?
Absolutely. 100%. Everything that's underground construction.
Y'all should get together and do a hard house event.
All of that.
You would have loved my old Twitch streams.
I probably would.
You'll find my mixes on Mixcloud. I have some hard house mixes from my streams on there. But no, that is what I learned. But that's how I learned how to speed mix, how to quick mix, how to multitask while I was mixing. Yeah. And I think that helped me in terms of like phrasing and blending to help me with other genres.
Well, I started off with hard house. That's exactly what I started off with, hard house, and I had all. Well,
if you want to sell some records,
actually,
some UC music records, I was collecting them for a bit.
I have them on MP3 though because I lost a lot of my records.
Oh, we could trade.
I had a friend who was keeping my records for me. He was practicing with them. He moved houses and he put them in a warehouse, and they all fucking warped.
Oh no!
So it's taken me a lot of years to get those songs back. What also has helped is I'm also friends with Alex Peace.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, I'm friends with Alex Peace.
I've always wanted him to do a drop for me. That was my
I'm
do a drop.
I'm sure, dude. I've got
him,
to party
him and
out.
Bam Bam. Oh my god.
I've got pictures with Bam Bam, Alex Peace, Caesar, Bobby D, and Bad Boy Bill.
Those were everyone I grew up listening to.
I actually got to meet all of them in one place.
You would like Bad Boy Bill.
Oh, Bad Boy Bill. Bad Boy Bill is so cool. And he's got really good videos on YouTube where he's DJ like on top of a building. I don't know if you saw that.
I've heard that name before, but I'll check it out.
I still watch his, is it the DMC? He did
the battle in
like 88.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a battle DJ, but he's a house DJ.
Right.
Did you ever battle?
Oh no, I can't.
No.
See, I didn't learn. I couldn't teach myself those techniques. I can scratch a little, as you can hear and hear, but that's it. That's
sometimes I'll be behind you at Molly, and I'm like, all right, Eric.
That's it. That's the scope of my.
Well, you're welcome to check out my crates. You can get whatever you want from there because it's. I got a lot of house records in there, hard house records. Yeah.
I have a lot of rips too.
Would you go back to Twitch?
Oh my God, they're gonna hear me. Yes, I would, but it's just I've told the people the reason why I don't stream is because when I did stream, it was fun, and I wanted to keep it that way. And with how my work schedule's going, if I do get on the stream, it then becomes feeling like I won't say a job, but like a gig that I'm doing. And like if I do stream, I want it to just be fun. Like I'm having fun, and it doesn't feel like I'm just like I'm pushing like, oh, I want to stream. It just be like, you know what, I feel it, I'm gonna get on and stream. Like because before it was just fun. I was in COVID and I was like, some way to make money, but I was still having fun with it. I could play whatever I want. That's actually how I got to expand was it my Latin stuff? Was through there. Like because before I couldn't play Latin music at the clubs. I mean, I'd get in trouble. Like, friggin' play Selena, and they'd be like, "Wow, why are you playing Selena?"
Yeah.
But I'm like, there's people on the dance floor.
Yeah.
We had this little joke for a while at the club. It'd be like, all of a sudden you play Selena and then like 100 people show up and then we're like, where'd they come from? Like, where did these people come from? Like, were they like hiding like somewhere?
Selena unites everybody.
In back of the curtains or something? Like La Gente all of a sudden showed up and we're like,
like the little SpongeBob meme.
They all it would literally like we'd be like, oh, okay, I guess they were hiding somewhere. But yeah, no, that's actually like during COVID and stuff was how I built up, like, you know, being able to mix that. And I'm kind of blessed for that. You know, it helped me just expand into, you know, different concepts, different sounds. And, you know, when I took over Friday nights, you know, for DJ Protege, the one good thing is like it was after COVID. So I was like, I can actually build it into my night and how it is that I want it to be, which was good because coming off of him, you know, it would have been kind of hard because he has his fans and people that would go see him. And I know that they would be like, oh, wait, you're not Protege or whatever. Yeah. So
your Protege's Protege.
Yeah. Like that's him. He's the man. So, you know, it was good that I could build my own concept and be like, okay, this is what I want to do for my night. This is how my night wants to sound. Like, this is stuff that I want to cover, you know, any music that I wanted to do. So eventually, like, I was able to build, and, you know, I'm so thankful to Scott, you know, the GM there. Like, he gave, you know, he's like, you know what, I trust you. You've been here long enough. You know how to handle your night. And, you know,
that's awesome.
He's like, as long as, you know, everything else is good, then, you know, that's why when we brought Poppy C, you know, I pitched it to him and he was like, I'm down as long as, you know, is if there's a crowd here, because it's also a Friday night. So, you know, they actually like changed the whole schematics of the bar and their flow.
So it wasn't like an off night.
It was an actual, like, it was kind of like a buyout. It was like a buyout of the club for that event.
Damn, so that's major.
And it got crowded.
So for us, you know, and like the thing is too, like, you know, they were charging cover for it, you know, so that's what they were kind of worried about because, you know, we don't charge cover normally until after midnight. So we were, you know, that was kind of the big if thing was like, oh, we're going to be charging cover before hopefully people show up. And I was like, you know, people will show up. Our people will show up. Our people will show if it's something that, you know, that's for our community. And so that, you know, I was just so lucky. Like, we had it packed by 9:30. Remember that? Oh my gosh. Yes. And I didn't even expect like at first at 9, I was like, oh my gosh, it's slow. I was like, oh, I was worried. Like
you would get a few like bridal crowds or dudes that come in, but then
I was stressing that I was like, oh my gosh. And then like 9:30, I was like, oh, everybody showing up.
They
and
came ready.
It was packed,
ready to go.
That's dope.
So we were blessed to have that. So it was lucky. But yeah, I mean, that was the one good thing about. And then my Saturdays, I've been there 9 years already. So
dang.
And then
it's a long time,
dude. That is a blessing in itself because not everybody can keep residencies for many reasons. And it's not like on the DJ. Sometimes it's just places close, turnover and stuff. So that is very commendable that you've been keeping those residencies for that long.
And I mean, it's also hard because like I have to stay on my toes. You know, I have to not become complacent. For a while before COVID, I was becoming a little, you know, I told him I was working 6 nights a week. So I was literally there like Tuesday, Wednesday, or like Tuesday, Wednesday, and then like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So like I was 6 days a week there and I was becoming complacent, being like, I can just get away with this. I can get away with this. Because you just get into a routine. It becomes a job. You know, it started becoming a job, not, you know,
something
gig.
you love to do.
Yeah. Right, and so like COVID kind of helped to, you know, to reset that. And so I was like, okay, now, you know, I can stay on my toes and I'd be always trying to, you know, try new sounds or, you know, try new things. And that's just kind of how I like try to keep myself, you know, keep motivated.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh man, that's awesome, man. Well, with that said, Eriq, we can't thank you enough for making time to come out and share your story and kind of decipher some of the misconceptions about, you know, queer DJs and being queer and all that. So one thing that we like to do before we close it out is do fast 5. I got a fast 6 this time. Okay. But if you have any?
After.
After. Okay, cool. So
it's a question more than anything.
So these are just water gun to your head.
Oh my
this
gosh.
or that. Just
Water
one
gun.
answer, this or
Oh
that.
my gosh.
And these are fun, not necessarily DJ related or
Okay.
anything. Yeah.
Okay.
Beach vacation or mountain retreat?
A beach vacation.
Pizza or tacos?
Water gun your head.
Water gun to your head, yeah.
At the moment, tacos, because I had pizza this week already.
Okay.
All right.
Wait. Shout out Conan's Pizza if you haven't had Conan's Pizza.
Conan's Pizza.
Conan's
Oh my
Pizza.
God.
Where is
Staple of Austin. There's one on Anderson Lane and Burnett Road. And
Okay.
there's one down south on like Stastny and OG. Like you go in there, it's like an arcade. Like old school
Really?
80s, like stepping into the 80s
Oh
pizza
man.
joint.
Okay,
Nice,
look,
nice.
I'm putting stars next to it. So
Yes,
I'm gonna
very good pizza, and their wings are
To die.
amazing.
Okay,
All right.
good to know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so movie night in or night out at the movies?
Night out at the movies. I'm a movie theater person.
Are you?
Yes, I have memberships to like the Regal
Okay.
and
I got Cinemark.
to Cinemark.
Cinemark's good.
Especially the Regal Unlimited. If I'm feeling the movie,
Really?
yeah, you can just go at any time.
Wow.
It's free.
Okay.
I'm like $20 a month. I'll see all the movies I want.
Well, I
And
got
it's free.
Cinemark because it's
At
close to me
Cinemark,
here.
yeah, that one's good too because if you get the one credit and then
Yeah.
if you don't use it, it rolls over. So
Yeah, and then you get 25% off the concessions and everything. And it's only like $12.
I just redeemed like my free popcorn at Regal recently.
yeah. I had like 60,000 points and I get a free popcorn. So I only technically spend like $2 or $3 because I buy a bottled water and that's it.
Oh.
Wow.
Because I get a free popcorn, my free ticket. So I was
Yeah.
just like, I'm a cheap date for myself.
Because we here in this household, we watch a lot of movies, especially in the theater. Yesterday we saw Barbie. Today we're watching Oppenheimer.
Oh,
actually, as soon as we're done here, we're gonna go see.
You're like, I have
Oppenheimer.
a movie time, a 3-hour movie
A
time.
3-hour movie. Wait, where did you see Barbie? Here?
at
At the movie theater.
Yeah, at the movie
Oh,
theater.
okay. Sorry, I
No,
misunderstood.
I say in this household, we watch a lot of
Wait,
movies.
what kind of
yeah.
bootleg shit are you on now? You can see the person walking through the screen.
I got a nap. I'll hook you up. I got some good shit.
I might hit you up. Dogs or cats?
Dog.
Oh, thank God. Okay. All right. How about singing off key in the shower or dancing awkwardly in public? What would you do?
Singing off key in the shower. That's fine.
He's an introvert. He said that.
Yeah, I will sing in the shower.
Okay. All right. I do both. I'm just kidding.
No,
I don't dance.
I need to see you dance. Come on.
I want to see the
I
speaker
read-
box
Wait,
dance.
yeah, you were talking about that. The speaker box
Yeah.
dance.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was back in the day. Last one from me. Last one for me. If you could wear one color of the rainbow, if you could wear one color for the rest of your life, what would it be? And right now we're all in uniform, in DJ uniform. But what color would it be if you could wear one color?
Although orange is my favorite color, I could not wear that every single day. So it'd
Is it
probably be
really?
blue. Yes.
Okay.
Orange is my favorite color, but I couldn't wear that every day for the rest of my life. Although I love it. Nope. I'll stick to blue, like a navy blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Chris, you got any questions?
What is your dream setup? DJ setup. If you could just pick anything, what would be your dream setup right in front of you?
A combination of turntables and CDJs.
Okay. Any
I
specific like?
Oh, no, CDJs no. I have freaking 800s at home.
Okay.
When I used to Twitch stream 800s.
Okay.
800s, right? No, 1000 MK3s.
The 1000s.
Those are still like, I don't know what about them. The 1000s.
Yeah.
The old school CDJs.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
some reason, they just feel so much different than like the 900s, the 2000s.
Yeah, I think they do.
The platter just seems more like
More firm
rock
and-
hard
yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. Like, I mean, you can't really scratch on them, but it's just, I mean, Bad Boy Bill, you scratch on them.
Yeah, I
so,
know.
I mean, you can, but it's just how they feel.
Okay.
But I mean, I think it's the way Kingdom used to have it. I think Kingdom.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever saw Kingdom. They had the two turntables and then had like
The
two
CDJ on
CDJs.
the little
Yeah.
the stands. Okay. And what mixer would you use?
I've never played on one, but I think Ellen Heath. I was like,
Oh, those are
supposedly have the
Hot-
best sound quality
yeah.
ever.
top
I
quality.
need to come to your house. I've never still to this day ever played on CDJs.
Really?
It's
Yeah. Never
I
have.
mean,
it's a bit weird to get used to at first.
Because I
It's-
see
it's a
the
totally
sound
different feel.
waves going slower than in
It's
Serato.
just the size of the waveform, I think.
Yeah, that throws me off. I'm like, is the song gonna play? Like, yeah, it's going like so slow, and I'm like, I need this shit in real time, you know.
And I assume you use Serato.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Cool, man, Eric. It was a pleasure chatting
Yes,
with
thank
you
you.
today. Shout out to my brother. You know what? Real quick, I do want to share this story publicly of how I met Eric, and it was totally a total opposite of what was told to me. So there was this DJ in San Antonio, and you know what? I'm not even gonna say his name. There was a DJ in San Antonio. I was in the process of moving here to Austin, and I had been asking around, hey, are there any DJs I could come check out in Austin to get a feel of the scene, et cetera, et cetera. And one of them, he told me, he said, here's the name of this guy, and it was Eriq Stylez. He's like, he DJs, what was it? Was it Oil Cans? Did I met you? And he goes, go check him out. I was like, okay, cool, thanks. I never really met this DJ. This guy was just like, he was pawned off to me from another DJ. He gave me his name and he said, don't embarrass me. And I was like, I've never met this DJ ever in my life. He goes, don't embarrass me. And I was like, excuse me? He goes, don't fucking embarrass me. Now there's a fucking in there. And I was like, okay, hold on. I was like, I don't understand what you're talking about. What are you referring to? He said, well, you know what it is, or you know what it's like. You know, I don't want to refer you if you're gonna embarrass me or you're gonna make a fool out of myself. I was like, first of all, I don't know you. I appreciate that, but I don't know you. And whatever it is that you're going through, you need to take that up with Jesus. Like, I don't know what the fuck that meant. But I sat on it because that shit bothered me, right? Yeah. But then I sat on it and then I looked him up and I was like, okay, he seems friendly, right? So then I messaged them on Messenger and I said, hey, you know, my name's Carla. I go by DJ Kick It. I'm brand new to Austin. I've been like here for like a month, maybe a couple months. Yeah. And I reached out to him, like, I just wanted to see if maybe I can come and check out one of your nights. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, it's a gay club. You know, are you cool with that? I'm like, hey, yes. And he's like, I'm going to play over here at Oil Cans. This is the time that we start. All right, bet. So I go, I pull up and he tells me, he's like, I said, hey, I'm here. He's like, oh, okay, I'm over here off on the side. That's all he said. When you go to Oil Can Harry's, he is like in a kind of looks like a janitor's closet. It's like this. Yeah. So you will miss it because the door is closed. Oh. So I walked right past it and I was like, he's on the side where? And meanwhile, he's in this booth, but the door's closed. So you can't tell there's a DJ in there unless you're obviously a regular. So I'm walking back and forth and I'm like, dude, I don't see you. He's like, I'm on the side. And I was like, okay. And so as I'm walking back, the queens start their Walk the Runway segment. So what that means is Eric plays like a RuPaul like type of song where people go and strut their stuff. Yeah. And I'm walking, I'm like, oh, like, I am not trying to be part of this. And this one dude behind me, he goes, girl, you gonna walk? And I was like, that's the conversation and I was like, no. And he goes, well, bitch, get out the way. I was like, okay, dude. And I'm walking on the side of the wall. And I'm like, total like Mission Impossible, like, because I'm trying not to get caught into the show. Yeah. And I was like, and then finally, like, I see him and I'm like, oh God, let me in. And I was like, dude, I didn't know that was going on. He's like, you okay? I was like, I almost got called into the show. He's like, well, do you want to perform? I'm like, hell no. Anyway, I'm Carla, DJ Kick. He's like, oh man. And he was so nice, so nice. And ever since we've just connected and that's cool. You're so professional. You teach me a lot without teaching me. Like he is so organized with the stuff. I'm like, okay, well, I need to be better about my cable management, whatever. And I hear your scratches and all that stuff, man. And it's always so much fun DJing with you because you and I just have this thing where we can just run off of each other. I'll keep the energy here and you're like really perfect at sending everybody to the bar and then everybody's there and etc. So our vibe is just perfect. So
yeah, it's always fun with you. I enjoy it. Yes.
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, fuck that other DJ. I said it.
I don't even know who it was either.
Oh, I'll tell you off the mic.
No, I meant like in terms of like, damn, I don't even think I knew them personally.
He was so rude.
I just knew them from, I think it was Facebook. That's all I knew.
Fuck that other DJ. Fuck all y'all rude DJs.
Exactly.
Anyway, all right. So we about to head out of here, but we got to do some plugs, man. What you got coming up? Anybody you want to shout out? Anything that you're doing?
Actually, my usually Friday, Saturday, Sundays, and
Where
Tuesdays.
You at?
Tuesdays and Fridays at Rain on 4th, Saturday and Sunday at Oil Can Harry's. Sundays is Latin night, so hopefully Kick It will come drop a set.
Hey man, we about to put it on the schedule right now.
That's right. And just give a shout out to everyone that supports me. All my my Twitch loyalists. Give a shout out to Taco, Esme, Corelastic, my homies, my cuz. I call them Raw Cuz. 2 of them in LA, 1 in Houston.
Nice.
I think you know some of them. They used to be in your stream.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably just by like the username.
I think you met Taco and Esme one night at Malavida. So
yeah.
and they came to visit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
I still need to meet Gracie D. I still need to meet her.
I want to have her down for Poppy C and a weekend. Yeah. She'd be amazing.
Hell yeah.
And then a shout out
to you and I should go to LA.
Let's go.
We should go visit her.
We should.
Okay, let's chat on offline.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All
right. Give a shout out to everyone again that supports me. All the ownership, all the management that's ever taken a chance on me. Shout out DJ Protege. I love you. See,
that's the OG
right there. I didn't tell you, like my first, like one of the scariest things he did and ever was like I told you, like I used to go and watch him. One Thursday, it was like midnight. He was like, "Hey, why don't you get on 30 minutes?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, go. Let's see." And I was like, the hell? What the hell? And it's a pack that like my eyes are just like, he's like, yeah, go for it. Just have fun. But yeah, that's like, that was a wide awakening. That was a wide awakening. And ever since then, I think he got trust in me and everything. So shout out to him. Shout out to all the other DJs. I saw you had Diggy Dutch, my homie. Oh my God.
Yeah, we had him on the last episode.
Yeah.
Y'all go check out that episode too, man.
Yeah, it's a good episode. I was watching it, I think it was yesterday. So it's pretty good. Yeah. Shout out to everybody. I love everyone. Everyone, I love you.
Cool. Chris, what you got going on?
I'm taking the weekend off.
Are you?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not doing shit. I got a lot of shit to do here, actually. So yeah, I'm just gonna work at home this weekend. Cool. What about you?
I have some galas that are coming up. For some reason, it's like gala season or something. Yeah. So yeah, some of these organizations here in Austin, they're doing like their award ceremony shows, etc. So I have some of that coming up. And yeah, we'll see what August brings. Hopefully it's a little bit cooler. I don't know about y'all, but man, I've been seeing some cancellations because of the weather. Yeah. I've been seeing people just not coming out because of the weather. And so hopefully August will be maybe at least 5 degrees cooler. I don't know.
Just 5 degrees, please.
At least something. 5 degrees means something, man. So yeah, man, y'all check this out, man. Make sure y'all follow this podcast, share it with your peoples. We are looking for sponsors. So if you know of any organizations, if you've got a business, hit us up at Scratch Theory of Tejas on Instagram. You can hit me up. I'm at DJ Kick It 17. Chris, where can they find you?
Dirty Chris ATX on Instagram.
Eric?
It's at DJ Eriq Stylez with a Q and with a Z.
All right, man. Y'all stay tuned for the next episode. Share this with your mama, with your family, with everybody, with the dog, and we out. Bye. Eric.